And Yachty, they just got to clean it up. So a little bit of backstory for people who may not be going on. Drake and Yachty sampled a song from a TikToker. His name is Mr. HotSpot. He got a large following, not even just on TikTok, but I don't want to just call him a TikToker because he do got a large following on all social media platforms. And he is more of a like I don't want to sit here and say spiritual because I don't feel like he making gospel songs, but he makes more friendly music or makes more friendlier jokes where it's I can't even compare him to like I wanted to compare him into like what's the nigga name that used to date Jess Hilarious? Country Wayne. I can't even compare him to Country Wayne because Country Wayne's his shit is still raunchy and it's still like vulgar, even though he used a lot of like God, God metaphors or religious metaphors. But Mr. HotSpot basically like he didn't gave his life over to the Lord. He's really into his religion, and he ain't clearing that song for them niggas just to be on there talking about wet pussy.
Would you have known it was his song if he didn't say nothing?
If Lil Yachty didn't say something, hell, I wouldn't have known because I don't follow him. So I wouldn't have known. So this was all like new to me. I haven't heard it, but I'm like, I'm not mad at that nigga because that shit was fire. I'm not about to let you just rough my sample and do whatever you want with it. Ain't no way in hell I'm not going like that. There's no way in hell I was going for that. Like, I'm not mad at him. Like they gonna get a bag off that song. Like that sample alone by himself. Like he was a bigger probably like nigga. If he was casting that, or if he was DC Young Fly or something, that song probably would already be big. Like that song would have already been so big to the point where they probably wouldn't even be able to sample it because people and don't get it. Let's be clear, his fans already knew who it was. They knew who he was sampling. But for people who may not be a fan of his, like I'm not. Like I see, of course, when I seen his face, I'm like, oh yeah, I have seen his face on social media before, but I'm not super familiar with him to know like, oh, he put out music. Like I may know like a Drewski put out music, or like I said, a DC Young Fly or Desi Banks. Like these people that you actually follow, I know. So, but like I'm saying, if that was a Drewski song, niggas would have had to they would have had to give him a feature. You wouldn't have been able to just try to like strong arm him for his junk and sample it. Like I just feel like he's not like he may be one of the people who's like, if you know him, but he's not popular enough on social media where I feel like everybody kind of know him. Whereas like now, like okay, even if you don't follow Cass and that, you still know who he is. Like he's big enough and his name is floating around on enough blogs that people kind of know who he is. So he was just like, yeah, I cleared the song for them, but they just got to clean it up. That's my only rule because I want kids to be able to sing along with that song. They gonna make the song bigger. I want the song to be clean so kids can still listen to it and still vibe to it. I'm not mad at him and he was right though. He was just like, dog, kids are the ones who actually are the people who are running up the streams. Like we can't make it like we are the older people are the ones who are the ones running up the stream. And matter of fact, I'm just gonna play the clip of him saying it. Did I send it to you? I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. Oh, who's another nigga? I should have tied in Big Sean when I was talking about Cardi being Offset. I didn't play it, but yeah, like I said, shout out to Mr. HotSpot. I'm not mad at him for feeling whatever way he did. I ain't mad at him for not wanting to clear it, but I do want to play this clip of Big Sean and Jay. Big Sean was getting interviewed by Charlamagne, and he asked him. And a lot, I'm not going to watch majority. I think I listened to damn near the whole interview. And Charlamagne kept bringing up Jhené Aiko because she is, and of course, I know Charlamagne is really heavy into the mental health stuff. So that's kind of his field. And Jhené Aiko is one of like those celebrities who really ushered in just in that whole little situation. So it's a little bit different. So he kept asking him why she ain't married her yet.
Secret industry weddings. No. There has not been a secret industry marriage. It's a little personal, you know what I mean? But just like to be real with you, just like any people who have dealt with love, we've had our ups and downs. Marriage symbolizes like the best relationship. You know, people be like, oh, you got to get married. To me, I feel like having a relationship is first and foremost, and like marriage is a byproduct of that. And I feel like a lot of people get the idea of like, oh, you have to get married. But then it's like, to me, that's almost a fear-based way of thinking too, because then people be getting divorced. Mm-hmm. The divorce rate's so fucking high. I would like to do a lot. And I don't like putting our personal business out there like that either. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I feel like,
stopping y'all from getting married. Or y'all already did one of those secret. Stopping y'all.
So let's be clear.
She a Pisces. I know what's the problem.
What you mean? What's the problem?
She giving that nigga hell. He probably, trust me. She seemed like sweet and innocent, but she probably getting that nigga hell.
So people was two reasons why people was dragging him to hell. One, because Jhené Aiko is one of those artists, just like Kalon. He maybe just like Tink, like some of those women who kind of maybe not super mainstream or as popular as like somebody like a SZA, but they have been building their catalog and their fan base for a long time. So they kind of almost got like a cult-like following when it comes to their audience. So niggas was like, damn, what's one of them girls he proposed to before?
The chick off of the TV show, right?
Yeah, so it didn't work out. So people was like, oh, damn, but you knew how to propose to her fast and y'all didn't have no kid or nothing, whatever the case may be. So like, they was dragging him to hell. Like, nigga, how you see you gave her a baby, but you can't propose to her? So, of course, that brings up one of those questions I seen a girl tweet it out. And she was just like, why do people be in such a rush to have kids, but don't be in a rush to get married? So, I mean, of course, like I said, they was giving Big Sean hell. And of course, through that interview, outside of just his trying to come up with reasons why him and Janae ain't married yet or why he haven't proposed to her, he kept trying to kind of like dance around I ain't gonna say fake beef, but the indirect shots that him and Kendrick Lamar been sending each other for years. And it seemed like he feel like he belongs in that conversation of the big three. He was even asking Charlamagne, like, who even came up with the term big three? Like, how do you determine who belong in the big three and who don't belong in it? And to be honest, I seen some people was like, oh, he need to act like I guess the bracket he really need to be considered in is the Wale bracket. And I'm not gonna lie, and that is one of just somebody just where I do get pissed off at Wale, because it just be like, bro, niggas be on the internet playing with you just like you some goddamn poop hut. And I just be thinking that shit is, to me, is disrespectful, because I do feel like I get what Big Sean's saying. It's like, how do you really determine who is the big three? But I do feel like, though, you can never in hell about to tell me that you would consider putting Big Sean in that conversation with these people before Wale. And that's just, again, like, I think Wale is one of those people who just kind of moves so close up under the radars. Like, I'm really going to just do the big hits and then I'm just going to disappear. And I've been on the internet for so long. It's like people kind of hate me on the internet. So it kind of don't matter what I do. I just got to kind of play the radio. I can't even play the internet game.
But I think even for both of them, I think it's just kind of they stuck in their own ways. Because even listening to some of the stuff that Big Sean has put out, it's just like, damn, you could have a hit, but you just like, you don't want to stay too much on your, you know what I'm saying, like the whole soulful kind of, like, you know, when he used the old samples, like those are his hits. But you know what I'm saying? Like, he don't want to lean into it. I don't want to be too, like, even with Wale, you don't want to make the girl song too many other girl songs, but which that is your bag. And so I think that's what kind of keep them.
I think if too many of the girl songs for Wale, if you do too many, that's what's gonna keep you out of the conversation of the big three. Because I think people that's one of the knocks is on Drake. Like, think about it. So if Drake do the girl songs, and some people may argue that Wale do girl songs better than Drake. It depends on who you asking. It depends on how much a diehard Drake fan you may or may not be. If you can be honest with who makes better girl songs, does Wale make better girl songs than Drake? Some people, I can probably argue that Wale may make better girl songs than Drake do, but because Wale kind of piss people off on Twitter and shit like that, and that's the place where you always see people make jokes, and even the way he may have rubbed the whole entire DMV may be a different way, so people don't defend him as much as they probably should. So it's just a little bit different. Like, I feel like Wale make better music than J. Cole. And to be honest, if you talking about just hits on some I ain't super on my woke shit, I could probably go hit for hit Wale versus Kendrick Lamar if we keeping it a buck. I think Wale just don't do the politic game. He never had a real crew behind him. And when he had the MMG shit, I think their egos just got the best of them. And that's what kind of rubbed it the wrong way. But if MMG could have kept their little situation like together a little bit better, I think people give Wale a different type of respect, because and that's why people was even at one point in time trying to put Meek up against Wale, because I think people do see the threat of how good Wale actually is. So even when I'm listening to Big Sean and he just coming up with all these different excuses on why he never kind of really bombed off, and he would just even like, I don't want my fans to ever think I was ducking smoke from Kendrick. Like, nigga, if you want the smoke, get the smoke then, nigga. I don't think you make good enough music, and I think your shit you be rapping about be just too fucking fluff. So that's why niggas don't take you serious. Like, do Big Sean, don't get it twisted. Early Big Sean had some hits, like him on them shits with Kanye, Marvin Gaye, and what's that Chardonnay shit. Like, don't get it twisted. Big Sean got some hits under his joke, and that's why. But listen to what I'm saying though. That's not even soulful. That's like some shit you can play in the club, and that shit gonna crank regardless. Especially at that era and that time, or even the joint with him and Nicki, like ass. I think there's just the difference between with Kendrick and Cole is they have a large core fan base that is heavy on Twitter, so they can argue their points strong stronger than a regular Big Sean fan or a Wale fan who may not be on Twitter. And those fans may just hide in a closet space a lot where they don't really like to communicate and argue for their favorite artists enough. And I think that's for Big Sean, and I think that's for Wale. They don't have those loud fan bases like a Kendrick, like a Cole, or like a Drake, where their fans are so loud and so fucking annoying. But I'm like just talking about off of just hit records, and we talking about pure skill. No, I can argue that Wale is probably better than all three of them niggas besides Drake. And he just make like, but I just think that people don't really they don't champion him like that. But I do like, I mean, the Big Sean and Charlamagne interview was a cool interview. It was a good money jump, but I'm not a fan. Y'all know just my stance on having kids and not doing the marriage thing. I'm glad that I did see women taking up for Jhené Aiko, because it was kind of just like, and I was surprised because I do know a lot of women like Big Sean. So I was kind of, even not gonna lie to you, I was very surprised on how many women really had smoke for him. But that's obviously to just prove how many people really like Jhené Aiko as well. So it was kind of just like, if we got to choose and who has a louder fan base on social media, it is going to be Jhené Aiko over Kendrick.